This video just did not end up the way I thought it was going to. Hey, thanks for coming to my channel. I tried a sensory deprivation tank, also known as a float tank. I had heard so many interesting things about sensory deprivation tanks. I actually had a client when I worked at the gym, pre-2020, who used to tell me all the time about how great it was. I always wanted to try, but I just never got there, I guess. So with this pregnancy, I heard a lot of people say how amazing float tanks are. Apparently there's so many benefits because it takes the weight off of your back. You are essentially floating. And also the benefits that I had been hearing before, just about how great and meditative and calming it is. Finally, I figured I had to try for myself. Long story short, I hated it. When I arrived, because it was my first float, I had a chance to sit down with the guy who was working there to kind of ask some questions and get a feel for what the whole thing was all about. He told me that there were actually a number of pregnant regulars who swore by these float tanks. So that's when I had a chance to ask him if he had any tips for anyone else who might be interested in trying. He said his number one tip was really to steer clear of any kind of caffeine, cigarettes, any kind of stimulant, because that would really take away from the whole meditative experience. He said his other tip for people who maybe weren't experienced meditators or not so sure about how they were going to last is to count down from 200 while visualizing the numbers. As you of course lose track, you start thinking of other things, you have something to bring your mind back to, and the visualization I guess really helps. At this point I got a tour of the facility. It was beautiful. They had a hair and makeup room, there was a massage chair room, which luckily was included. I gotta tell you, that was a redeeming quality right there. They're beautiful. It's a big pod inside the room. There's a shower and like a little bench and changing station. This particular float spa provided a towel, a robe, slippers, earplugs, a flotation pillow, and all sorts of things that you might not realize could come in handy. I thought that was so nice that they have so much there. Once everything gets started, you have 6 minutes to shower. The shampoo, conditioner, and body wash is included, although you cannot use the conditioner prior to getting in the tank, but you can use it after. There is a red light in the tank that you can turn off with the push of a switch. That way you can kind of position yourself, get yourself comfortable, and when you're ready, start floating. Me being pregnant, water temperature, of course, is something that I worry about. In this case, the water temperature is highly regulated, like it is calibrated down to the 10th of a degree. It's supposed to be exactly body temperature. I didn't have a thermometer, so I cannot tell you, but because I do not have a thermometer, and I've really just been having showers, I've been keeping them on like the low side of warm. Just a paranoia thing, you're not supposed to have your water over a certain temperature. So when I got in, I was pretty surprised at how warm the water actually felt. And then I closed the pod. The pod was actually pretty large. When you close it, it feels like you have a ton of space. But for some reason, the heat in there was so uncomfortable for me. I did not last very long, like at all. Maybe it was because this pregnancy I've been overheated the whole time. Maybe it's because I'm not used to being in warmer water. Maybe it was just that particular day, but I overheated, like immediately. So I cracked the pod and I felt a rush of cold air come in. It felt so good. But unfortunately, that relief was short-lived. I was still really, really hot. This is when I started kind of gaslighting myself and telling myself that I was completely insane. There's nothing to be overheated about, like time to relax. Maybe it was just because I wasn't used to being in the situation. Whatever. I turned the light off and I tried to relax. And then I got nauseous. Really, really nauseous. I didn't know if that was from the heat, or immediately I thought maybe it was because I was in a supine position. Because they do tell you not to lie on your back when your belly gets to a certain size because it can compress your vena cava. So then I started thinking it was that, which I have since Googled, and they say that that's really not supposed to be an issue because of the fact that you are floating and essentially weightless. So there's nothing to actually compress it against. But they did suggest that for people who didn't like to float on their backs, to lie prone, which is something that I tried to do anyways because I thought maybe it would let my back cool down, but it was really uncomfortable. I only lasted about 20 minutes. I did pay for an hour of sensory deprivation though, so I was not leaving. I got out, quickly showered myself off, wiped as much of the salt off as I could, and I sat on that bench and attempted to meditate. Because as a mom, an hour of completely quiet, uninterrupted, unbothered time is not something that you will ever that you often experience. So I wasn't giving my hour up. Although I have to say it wasn't uninterrupted because my daughter needed to know if she was getting picked up from school and who it was gonna be. So then, you know, my text messages blew up. By the time I finally relaxed, got into a meditative state, there was approximately 7 minutes of my hour left. When that time was over and all the lights came back on, I got dressed, I headed to the hair and makeup room, pulled myself together a little bit, and went and sat in the massage chair. Now I gotta tell you, this massage chair was unlike any massage chair I have ever experienced. It's a shame that this isn't a massage chair review because those massage chairs were like whole nother level. I could have sat in that for the whole hour. That would have been lovely. Now, am I gonna do this again? Not while I'm pregnant. Maybe on like a cold winter day when I'm not pregnant, it might be lovely. But while I'm pregnant, I can't deal with the heat. I can't deal with, whatever it was that was causing the nausea, probably also the heat. I'm not doing it. But I'm not saying for you not to do it. Every person is different. Every pregnancy is different. Every day, situation, week, trimester, whatever, is a different experience. So even though I hated it during pregnancy, you might be one of those regulars and absolutely love it. I am going to say that I'm definitely going to give it another shot postpartum. I love the idea of being able to take my meditation to another level, and I'm really hoping that the whole situation can redeem itself. So again, I'm not telling you not to. That's just my experience, and it was not a good one. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope I didn't dissuade you if you want to try. This video just did not end up going the way I expected. Thanks for watching. Click to join me on my journey to finding ultimate health, happiness, well-being, whatever. Let's just live our best lives together, and show me some love down in the comments, or give this video a like if you enjoyed it. I would love to hear about your experience or what you think about flotation tanks. Thanks for watching. Because every person is pregnant. Every person is pregnant.